And now the sun is back out, shining bright. What's going on, family? For this is another day that the Most High have made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. We thank the Most High. We thank Yahushua who hung, bled, and died, our Savior. Oh, man, this video right here is probably going to offend a whole lot of musicians, and good. Good if it does. This is to the musicians. Video responds back to you, Brother Kyle. And what I've been doing is catching up on doing a whole lot of videos. That's why you see me since school was out, man. Had a lot of time to just do a whole lot of uploading. But let me dive into this. The title says, leaving space for other musicians. Leaving space for other musicians. There are a lot of musicians, I said this many times on here, who are not studio musicians. You got studio musicians who know how to really play. And what I mean by leaving space is not getting so busy. You got some musicians out here that get so busy while they're playing, they don't leave no room for the other musicians. So if you lay tracks as a producer, shout out to everybody who produce music, engineers, producers. You know that when you laying tracks, you have to leave space for the other sounds. You can't be so busy that you're not leaving the guitar player nothing to do. You can't be ripping so much on the drums. You can't be stopping so much on every song on the bass. You gotta know when and how and what to do, when to do. And a lot of musicians don't get that, but a lot of musicians do. And speaking of drummers, in your email, brother, I will take a pocket drummer over a cocky drummer any day. Notice what I just said. A pocket drummer over a cocky drummer, because most pocket drummers I know are very humble. And they easy to work with. Easy to get along with because they humble. See, a pocket drummer knows when to do what to do, especially with the other musicians. A humble bass player knows how to play. So another thing, you can't play with everybody. So when you laying tracks, when you leave space, and even if you're not laying tracks, if you playing with a band, you got to know how to let everybody else blend in. Man, I remember back in the day, I would play with some people, man. It's just a hot mess. Organ players who run bass lines with their foot, who mess up the bass player, don't want to let the bass player run the bass line. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You got lead guitar players battling with the keyboard player. You got battling musicians that's in bands with each other, and they don't get along. And the music, even though a lot of them can play, but it's no accompanying each other. People ask me all the time about the piano and the organ, which one I love the best. Piano have always been my favorite. Without all the technology, hands down, I've always loved a baby grand piano. And I'm talking about before all this play by yourself piano. The piano can play by itself with this technology. You see these pianos in the mall, you just hit a button, they play by themselves. I'm talking about a real, let me go back before that, a Fender Rhodes, as me and my old man would call them, the old Ray Charles. Back then you had a Fender Rhodes and you had a Wollaston. Fender Rhodes is what D'Angelo used to play on all the time. You always saw D'Angelo on that Fender Rhodes. He's gone now. Prayers for his family. But when you leave space because you know, oh, wait, I got a saxophone player coming too. And a flute player. You even want to add some strings in there. So when everybody do their part and leave each other them gaps in space, it's so beautiful. And I'm responding back to my own music when y'all ask me, it's in my mind first. But let me tell you something. Before I touch the keyboard, before I touch it, it's already right here. I already heard the music in my head. Every track you hear me on there, I've heard it in my mind. I don't care if it's 4 o'clock in the morning, especially when I was doing it all the time, every day, all day and night. It starts in your mind first. I can hear the organ, I can hear the piano. But let me answer the question further about the piano and the organ, because there's so much I want to say in this video. Most people think that this is my opinion on this and how I feel towards music. Most people think because the person that's on the organ, whether it's male or female, that's the main thing. That's what you got to be following it. But see, real talk to me, now this is to me, y'all can just give me y'all opinion on this. To me, the organ's supposed to accompany the pianist. It always worked better that way to me. Because the true organ player I'm gonna lay right on here with the behind them beautiful pianos, them chords. And see me, I'm a chorder. I love to chord. I've always been that. I love my thing. See, when I was coming up, Pascal, you know, you can testify to this too. See, when we was coming up, you had to really, really play. And I'm not knocking what musicians are doing now, because a lot of y'all are in the same age bracket as me. A lot of y'all play from the heart. A lot of y'all grew up without all the technologies. Some of y'all learned on that B3 organ when you was 4, 5 years old. Like my boy, man, you know, what's my boy last name? Bobby Sparks. Bobby Sparks been playing that B3 since he was probably 5, 6 years old. And when it comes to an organ, see, man, you can tell when somebody been on an organ all their life, because there's a lot of piano players that don't like the organ. And then there's a lot of organists that don't like the piano. They don't care nothing for a piano. Man, what organ that? But when it comes together and you accompany one another, man, it's beautiful. Because see, even on the organ, you know, I got to lead, hey, them chords, man. You can't be so busy ripping all over the place. And you got people that'll take a hymn and destroy him in a heartbeat. So I want to just do this to the musicians. When you leave that gap, whether you laying tracks or playing live, you got to realize, just say if you got a 4-piece or 5-piece or whatever piece or type of band you got, you can't be all over each other. And the thing I look at before even touching the keys, the respect that you're supposed to have for one another. I respect your craft. I respect you as a piano player. I respect you as a drummer. Man, there's some cocky drummers out here. There's some cocky piano players out here. There's some cocky whatever instrument category you want to put it. It's some cocky ones in every last department. And them the ones that's very hard to play with. Yeah, they gonna get gigs. They gonna get gigs because there's always gonna be some people that don't care how it is, man. I know his attitude ain't bad, man. I know her attitude her attitude is bad, his attitude is terrible, but hey, man, I love the way they play. But when you got humble people that gel together, work together, it's beautiful. So, I don't know. See, I'm in Dallas, Texas, man. When you talk about Dallas and Fort Worth, man, we got so many musicians. We got more musicians than we can count. But the sad thing I hate about it, a lot of musicians down here just can't get along with each other. You see some that can, but you see a whole lot, man, I don't like that. Man, I don't like him. I don't like her. She all right. He all right. And here go the cold-blooded part. The majority of them are in the church building. Can't stand each other. Fussing over who gonna play. I saw all this growing up, man. Even Kent folks that I would think would get along and could play with each other. Ego. Power struck. Who better than who? You got family members that's always in competition with each other. See, I come out of a family full of musicians, and you'll never see me in competition with none of my family members. Shout out to Michael Earl Thompson. To those of y'all that know Mike, yeah, that's my cousin. That's my cousin, hands down. Most of y'all didn't know because he was in Florida all those years, but he moved back from Orlando, Florida. That's when I was almost about to move to Florida for a music opportunity with Mike back in the day. I believe that was around, I can't remember what year that was. Man, but it'll come back to me. But I never did move to Florida. I stayed here. Now Mike is back here, but Mike has probably every degree you could think of in music. Do you think you'll ever see me and Mike try to compare with each other, compete with each other? No. Because see, you got those that have went to school and you got those that have not went to school. You got those that play by ear and those that can play by ear and read. But the problem that comes into play is all this battling with each other. My cousin have a very unique beautiful classical funk style. Can play anything, can read anything. And I love that. But then I'm completely different. I have my style. And that's when you establish your style as a musician. See, my thing was I learned from people. But when like I said, when I was coming up, we didn't have the YouTubes and all the teachings that you got out now. We had to learn, man. You know what our biggest problem was back in the day? Boy, some of y'all that's old school, y'all gonna feel this. When we was listening at them songs, man, by Earl, and some of them things you had to keep rewinding because man, what are they doing right here? I can't hear this chord. My thing was always figuring out the chords. Okay, let's get the bridge. Where they going right here? I wish I would have had teachers like you got now. Man, now it's so many people teaching. It's so easy to learn songs now, but back then, like I told y'all in the video a while back, man, we had to really, really sit down and learn that music, man. When we was on tape decks. And I called my guitar player, Greg Clark. He also played key. Greg, what key you got the song in? Because if you remember the tape decks, some were spinning at a different speed than others. And when you come together in the room, you might have it maybe a whole step higher or a half step down. It depends on how fast your tape deck was spinning. See, that one deal, all that stuff is over and done with now. I didn't have no transpose button on that B3 organ I was playing in church. I didn't have no transpose button on that piano, so I had to learn all 12 keys. Learn that number system. Learn that blues scale, learn them pentatonic, learn all that stuff. Because when you learn it and you learn it up here, when you sit down here, it's a piece of cake in so many ways. I know I'm tying all this in together because I'm letting the video flow the way it go because I'm talking to the musicians, man. But remember to be as humble as you can. Because most church musicians are gigging musicians, whether these pastors want to say that or not. A lot of, if you really look at music now, in the church building, and the way church done became so much of a business and a corporation, I'm going to say. That's exactly what churches are now, most of them. I'm not going to say all, but the majority, yes. It's that came down to a corporation in so many ways, a business, an industry. And that's why you got musicians say, where my bread at, man? You know, you got a lot of musicians, they don't care about really how the praise team sound. It ain't hardly no more choirs left. They done pretty much got rid of so many choirs now. Most churches I know don't have a choir stand no more. They don't have no choir. It's a praise team. And me personally, my opinion, I miss old choirs. I miss a lot of the old music. That's why, I don't, see, and another thing as a musician, you're going to start really listening to stuff. As you get older, let me say it like this, a born-again musician, a humble, born-again, anointed musician is not going to play everything that everybody is playing nowadays. They're going to be like, nope, this don't fit. Ain't no God in this song. Sorry, y'all, we not doing this. And they're going to get mad at you as the MD. Man, MDs catch a lot of hell. They catch a lot. And then you got so many musicians that don't want to practice at home on their own. They don't know the difference between rehearsing and practicing. You don't go to church to, oh, don't get me started. This is why I started leaving bands alone in the first place. You waste so much time when people don't, ain't no way I'm supposed to come together and practice with you. Practice is on my own time. Rehearsal is to put it together. That's why when I go to rehearsal, you ain't got to tell me what, hey man, what we playing and what the songs are. I already know. You ain't got to tell me what key they in. You ain't got to tell me how to play it. I already know. My question is, do you know your part? Because see, now you on my time. And I don't like my time wasted. And I don't like getting in the room wasting time with folk who say, hey man, teach me how to play. Now, you didn't practice. You supposed to practice at home. Stop coming to rehearsal trying to practice. I know that just made a whole lot of musicians mad right there. But y'all, the truth hurt. That's why I love being around people that know their instrument. They know their craft. You get in the room, that's a whole lot of time not wasted because, say, man, let's just run through such and such. Let's figure out how we're going to do the intro. We're going to, go to the bridge. Or we're going to work on our breaks, our chops right here. That's what the fun rehearsals be. And that's why so many people get mad whether you talking about at church or with a band, a secular band. That's why people get mad when their time is being wasted. They know their craft. And then you gonna always have the late musicians. Oh yeah, I'm gonna address y'all too. The on-time musicians, shout out to you, but these late musicians who are always late and ain't got their own equipment, gotta always call somebody, man, what kind of musician are you? Why you want to invest in yourself? Why you want to invest in your own craft? And you churches that want to keep calling all these musicals with your broken down equipment, stop that mess. Talking about give God your best, and you don't even have a fourth of the best equipment in the church, but yet you want your church to be the building that have all the musicals, and you won't even go buy a microphone or a boom stand. You still want to stand up there and hold the mic while such and such on the piano. Man, buy you a $29.99 boom stand. Kick it to the right and let that microphone stand do what it's supposed to do. Get professional. Stop rigging everything. Stop wrapping duct tape around everything. I know y'all, man. Get the organ serviced. Get the piano tuned. It's not a bad thing to get it tuned. Fix the drum set. Buy some new heads to put on the drum set. Invest in some drumsticks. See, you kill me with this taking up tires, and then you don't even want to pay the musician, and then the musician stuff get broke when he brings his own stuff, and some of you churches don't even want to buy a pair of sticks. Well, that's the musician job. Well, what if that musician is laid off like a lot of musicians I know, and they just ask you for a pair of drumsticks, or buy a snare stand, buy another hi-hat stand. See, stewardship, once again. I've seen preachers and deacons that don't have a clue on stewardship, and they don't have no type of equipment ready for the church. Oh, I know I done went all the way off in this one. But all of this stuff goes together with what I'm talking about. It's more, see, this video is it's way more than just talking about leaving the gap in space when you playing with other musicians, whether you produce it or playing live. It's a respect thing, and then it's do all things in decent and in order. That's why I love talking about the Levites, the Levitical priesthood. I love talking about when David hired in the musicians in the Bible, and they were skillful. And that was their only job in the Old Testament. Their only job, look at that band that David put together. Look at Asaph. Look at all of them, that family, man. You talking about singers and musicians who was on point. They was on time in the temple. They had to show up and they had to be ready, and they couldn't come to the house any kind of way. Teach Holy Spirit. Where the humble musicians at? Yeah, you got a lot of musicians out here that can play. A lot of them, they can play their butt off, but there is no prayer life. There is no living right. They just can play. They not no minister of music. They just of music, a lot of them. Y'all, the truth hurt. That's why people know man, don't call JT to come. Don't call JT to do no musical over here, because he y'all already know what time it is. You want me to do a workshop. I quit doing that stuff years ago. You want me to be the clinician. I can't do that no more. I remember the last one I did, this lady couldn't believe I didn't charge her a dime. And it's a joke what's going on out here, y'all. It's a business. And it's sad to see. But you be the best musician that you can be. I know a lot of y'all felt like y'all JT, are you coming back to YouTube, the teachers over? And all of y'all that's hitting me up, didn't I tell y'all, here it is, 17 years later, I told y'all was going to experience this stuff. Now some of y'all done quit playing in the church building. I told you exactly what you was going to go through, didn't I? I warned you, especially when it comes to these preachers. Me and Pastor Corey talk about this all the time. These preachers that do this, notice I'm saying they do this, they not going to pay you. They going to continue to misuse scripture and lie to you. You can't sit here and tell me you shouldn't get paid as a musician. That is not biblical. Do it from the heart. Doing it from the heart, yeah, but see, you got bills to pay. You got mouths to feed. You got rent to pay, or you got a house note. You got a mortgage. You got a family. Yeah. Most of them preachers that tell you God gonna bless you and do it from your heart, they wouldn't dare preach for free. But a real pastor gonna bless you. I didn't say rob in the church, but it is biblical to pay musicians. I just told you with the Levites. That's why David hired them Levites. And they were paid, they were compensated for their skill. For their what, JT? For their skill. I think I better say that one more time. For their skill. You ain't just showing up. That's why when you talk about skills, You paying that musician because of their humbleness and they putting together their music. See, a real musician to tell you, man, I go home, I'm picking out these songs, and man, I stay up all night, I'm picking this out, I'm getting this ready. I'm not going to show up at church and give the Most High no anything. I'm not going to show up at rehearsal and give the Most High no anything. You're going to take time. You're going to use that spiritual discernment, and you're going to choose the songs that the Most High put in your spirit. Versus all this doing all this because, man, that's the next song that's jamming. Everybody doing that new such and such. Man, I don't care what everybody's doing. I don't care what everybody's doing. But when you walk up in the church and you have this type of mentality, it scares folks and run folks off. It even make the preachers like, man, I don't know if I should have picked this dude, this type of dude, or I don't know if I should have picked this type of lady right here, man. 'Cause, man, they don't play. It's the ones that don't play that you need in the building. It's the ones that don't play that's going to make sure it's right. But you better choose the ones that's wrong. When preachers always call me, I tell them in a minute, I don't know nobody. But if you can just find me a musician, I'm not even looking. Stop calling me and asking me that because it's not the same no more. And what are you talking about in the church and in the world? It's not the same no more. Everything has changed. Boy, I'm fired up in this video, y'all, because I know the heart of musicians. I know what you're going through. I know the struggle. Man, I can write a book on being a musician. I can do a movie about being a musician, especially start out in the church. And then you wonder why so many of the people that made it, they started out in the church and then they left the church and they go on. Look at that concert with Johnny Gill. Didn't Johnny Gill take it to church? And then y'all be talking about, oh man, they went back to the secular because it's in them. Look at Charlie Wilson. That gospel always come out of him. It don't matter how bad you try to sing that R&B, it's still gonna be, ooh, boy, can I talk to you for a minute? It's gonna come on out in your singing. It's gonna come out. Johnny Gill, somebody posted this video talking about Johnny Gill took him to church. But then at the same time, let me make you mad. What is taking it to church? What is really preaching? Johnny Gill was preaching. Is that what we call preaching? Is that preaching? Or is that emotional feeding and motivational speaking with singing and playing around with the organ player? A real preacher, teacher is going to teach and expound. I think I done said enough. Musicians, if you ain't too mad at me, give me a comment on here. Love y'all. Shalom.